The Battle of Bunker Hill, fought on June 17, 1775, was one of the earliest and most significant battles of the American Revolutionary War. Though technically a British victory, the battle demonstrated the strength and determination of the American forces and proved that the colonial militia could stand up to the professional British Army. Background and strategic importance. Following the battles of Lexington and Concord in April 1775, colonial militias surrounded Boston, trapping British troops inside the city. The colonial forces sought to strengthen their position by fortifying the hills surrounding Boston, which would allow them to control movements in and out of the city. The main objective was to fortify Bunker Hill, but due to confusion the American forces instead built defensive positions on Breed's Hill, which was closer to Boston but more difficult to defend. The battle unfolds. On the morning of June 17, 1775, British General William Howe led approximately 2,200 British troops in an assault to dislodge the colonial militia from their fortifications. The American forces, numbering around 1,500, were commanded by Colonel William Prescott, who famously instructed his men, "Don't fire until you see the whites of their eyes," to conserve limited ammunition. The British launched 3 major assaults on the American positions. The first 2 were met with heavy resistance, resulting in significant British casualties. The third assault succeeded in overtaking the colonial fortifications, but only because the Americans had run out of ammunition and were forced to retreat. Despite losing the hill, the colonial forces inflicted heavy losses on the British, who suffered over 1,000 casualties compared to around 450 American losses. Impact and legacy. The Battle of Bunker Hill had profound effects on both sides of the conflict. For the British, the battle was a Pyrrhic victory. They won the ground but suffered heavy casualties, revealing that the war would be much more difficult than they had anticipated. For the Americans, the battle boosted morale, proving that colonial militias could hold their own against the British Army. The battle also galvanized support for the Patriot cause, leading to increased enlistment and a stronger resolve for independence. In response, the British government became more determined to crush the rebellion, leading to further escalation in the war. Conclusion. Although the British ultimately took the battlefield, the Battle of Bunker Hill was a turning point in the American Revolution. It demonstrated the resilience and courage of the colonial forces and set the stage for a prolonged struggle for independence. The battle remains one of the most iconic moments in American history, symbolizing the fighting spirit of the revolutionaries in their quest for freedom.